This is Up Close, SABC News weekday program that profiles men and women making waves in their industries and gives newsmakers a platform where they can share their stories and vision as we hope to inspire you, our viewer. I'm Tshepang Motsekuoa. Stay tuned for the next half hour as we talk to musician Brian Temba.
This is my time. This is my moment. No more living.
After harnessing his craft and stage performance as a backup singer for both Jonathan Butler and Vicky Vilakazi, Brian Temba was ready to move to the front with a solo career. His music has been coined R&B as it soothes the broken and serenades lonely hearts. But the Soshanguve-born talent was actually discovered in his early years at church, and today we get up close with him. Brian, thank you so much for talking to us.
Thank you for having me.
I was feeling soothed. I couldn't even pronounce that. Soothed.
I haven't even started singing yet.
What happened to their hair?
Had to go.
Had to go.
You see, once a man sits on the chair for 2 hours,
okay,
that's enough. That's a lot. You know, as an artist, you have to keep a certain look, and you have to, have to keep it clean. You guys have a hard job. That's all I can say. Because you have to twist, you sit in.
But it was stunning. Did you? Okay. Did you sell it? I'm giving away secrets here about dreadlocks.
No, I can't sell it.
Can't sell it. Did you keep it? One day you're gonna grow them back on.
You know what? The weird thing is that you get attached to it.
Yes.
That's the weird thing, and I can't seem to get rid of it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to get rid of it.
So you're just keeping it?
Yeah, for now, until I figure out how to get rid of it.
Until I have the right price. Okay, let's start the interview, shall we, Brian? Growing up in Soshanguve, tell us about that.
You know what? Growing up in Soshanguve, actually, it's amazing what God does with one's life.
Okay.
Because when I was growing up, I was at the back of the crowd. My friends, I was always at the back. The quiet boy, never saying anything, and my friends used to boss me around. Basically, I was that quiet, meek, and just timid.
This is what age?
This is
primary school.
Primary school, high school.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Until I started singing at church in '95. When you come in contact with God, things become different. So in my life, the thing is with God, you get this confidence about yourself, because what He says about you, is not even what we think about ourselves. You know what I'm saying? So for me, knowing what God thinks about me, I had to think about myself as how God thinks about me.
And that's when your confidence started to grow.
Started to grow, and once I knew that I was not a tail, but I was a leader, I had to act like a leader. I had to start being a leader. Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about the music. How did you discover that you can sing and end up singing in church?
I didn't even know I could sing. This is the weirdest thing. People ask me, so how did you know you could sing? And I didn't know. I sang all the time. That's the thing. I sang all the time. I sang at home, cleaning, washing dishes. At some point, I had my neighbors, every time when I would wash dishes at night, they would actually stay outside and listen to me.
Oh, that's so
and
nice.
I never paid attention to that. Every time I would see them, oh, hi, what's up? Kitamans, you know how it is. And later on, they told me, we used to sit and listen to you sing. But I never thought anything about it. Never thought of anything about singing or music or career or anything like that.
What were your aspirations back then when you were growing up?
You know how it is, man. I mean, you grow up, your mom says, you need to be a doctor, you need to study to be an engineer or something like that.
Yes.
Business management in my case, because I went to college to do business management.
Okay.
Till today, I blame my parents, and like, you heard me sing, you knew I could sing. Why didn't you encourage me in that? But again, our parents, when we were growing up, they wanted the best for us, and the best was either being a doctor, definitely not music. Because when I told them I wanted to do music, they were like,
yeah.
But for me as a young person, I became so convicted, and I didn't understand that conviction, because at 18, I was like, Mama, go back to school. But I ended up singing, and here I am.
Now, I still want to go back to how you ended up singing at church. How did that happen? What happened? One day...
we were having a church party.
Okay.
It was a December, Christmas party, church, for the youth. And Rebecca was playing in the background. I don't really remember the song. And I started improvising, and surprisingly, the one of the church leaders was right next to me, and he heard me sing. He was like, "Dude, you can sing." And I said, "No, no, because I never thought about anything about music."
To do with music, yes.
Yeah, I never thought anything. And he said, "I'm going to tell the pastor, and we'll take it from there." And I said, "No, please, no." I mean, I'd never sang in front of people, and I was so scared and so nervous. And he told the pastor. Pastor came to me and said, "In 3 weeks, you're going to be leading worship." I had never been on stage. I had never sang in front of people.
Okay.
So you can imagine that 3 weeks was the hardest 3 weeks of my life.
I'm sure.
Fortunately, I had friends who sang. So they invited me to a wedding before, and I started singing.
Started training yourself.
Yeah, I started training myself. The first time I sang, I remember very well, the voice was shaky.
I can imagine.
Yeah, and my palms were sweaty, and I was just nervous,
This is in front of the whole church congregation?
Yes, during a wedding.
Okay.
And then I had to sing in front of the church, and it was lighter, it was better.
It was better.
Yeah, and that's when I started singing in front of people.
But did you enjoy it though? Did you like it?
I did.
Right from the beginning?
I did. I did. First time it was hard. I don't even remember if I enjoyed it or not, because I was that nervous. But second time I enjoyed it, because people started responding, and and they liked what I did. And in any situation, if somebody likes what you do, you grow confidence in that. So I grew confidence and started thinking, oh, I could actually sing for a living.
Okay, and we're going to go into the second segment. And the second segment, I want to talk about what happened between then to when we get introduced to you as an R&B singer, because I didn't even know that you were Brian Temba Makiwan.
Yes.
We all thought you were some international star, from London with his big mane.
True.
Let's take a break. We're going to continue with that. After the break, we continue to get up close with Brian Temba. Would greatly appreciate any suggestions or comments that you have about the show. My Twitter handle is @Tshepang Motsekuoa, so stay with us. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to get up close with Brian Temba. Brian, so you decided that mom, dad, thank you very much for the education and everything, but this is what I want to do.
Yes. And
then how do you end up being the Brian Temba that we know?
My brother's a musician. My cousin, he's my cousin, but I call him my brother. With our families, it's like there's no cousin or anything like that. It's just brother. And he's a musician, and he knew a lot of people in Johannesburg, who sang. And actually, one situation was at church. Vicky Vilakazi was invited to sing. At the church, it was a women's function or something like that, and he heard me sing at church, and I think from then she started looking for me. Trying to find me, because she was putting together. A group of BVs, like backing singers, which was me and Giselle Brothers, actually. So they were, Tobe was singing tenor and Lutando was singing alto, and I was singing soprano, And she was looking for me, but couldn't find me. But because my brother, and I moved to Joburg, and my brother knew everybody. So she actually went through my brother and got me and said, come, sing. From then I started singing with Vicky Vilakazi, backing her up. I met Ntunzi Namba and Lindalani Mkhize, and they said, we want to give you a shot at Joyous Celebration. And I started singing with Joyous Celebration in 1998. From then onwards, I sang with Hugh Masekela, backing Hugh Masekela, with Family Factory, people like Jonathan Butler. We backed up everybody. Everybody.
So you are one of those stories that you decided you're going to do this, and right from the beginning you were able to start earning an income.
Yes.
That
Basically.
is really fortunate.
You see, the story about that was that in '97 I was in college, and I used to write down what I wanted to happen. Joyous Celebration and Family Factory was one of the things that I used to write down. I'm going to be signed with Sony. I'm going to sing with Joyous Celebration and you know, Family Factory. And I remember I wrote I wanted to record my first album overseas, and everything that I wrote down happened the way I wrote down.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's only God that can do that. You know.
And then what? Okay, so what happens? You're earning an income. You're a backup singer.
Yeah, I was a backup singer, and
how do you end up in the UK?
The thing is, I wanted more from the music. I didn't want to just back up people or sing with people. I wanted to be. I think from beginning, I was a solo artist. I was somebody that wanted to conquer the world, if I can put it that way. And then I actually auditioned for Lion King in 1999 for the show in Los Angeles. I got the part. I mean, I knew Level M from then onwards, and I got the part to play ensemble in the US of Lion King. And I did that for about 2.5 years, and I auditioned for the lead part, which is Simba. Yes, I auditioned for that, and I got the part, but I was auditioning for the American company to play it in America, but because of the laws, I couldn't play it. So they said, we like you very much and we want you to go to the UK. So I got to play the lead role in the UK, in the West End stage. For quite
a number of years.
Yes, and when I was there, I met a whole lot of producers, a whole lot of talented people, you know. And I started working with Steve Anthony, and he said, I'll work on your first album. And that's when Brian Temba was
Tell
born.
us about that time that you spent. So you're working in the theatre.
Yes.
You're getting paid. I mean, actually, London life is rough, but I think you are probably doing just okay.
Oh, I was doing okay.
How was that? How was that living in the UK?
Yeah, I would say this, the first 2 years, I wanted to go back home.
Really?
Yes, I said, send me back home. I hate this place. The weather.
Overcrowded.
But besides that, the weather, the people were just cold. You know, the people were just cold. I remember going to a supermarket, and I was at a till, and I'm a South African dude, you know, so no Ubuntu pen. And
you're smiling.
I'm smiling, I'm there, and I'm like, hi, how are you? She looks at me and she says, you're not from here, are you? And I said, ish, yeah, ne? And that for me was like, I couldn't deal with that for the first 2 years. But I'm telling you, after that, I fell in love with London.
What specifically about it?
My daughter, one.
Okay.
Yeah. The place, the landmarks, the culture there, I fell in love with it. And you have a lot of mixed people, you know, from around the world. You know, it's like the center of the world where everybody meets. And I just fell in love with it.
And now you spend your time commuting between the two places?
Yes. Yes. I'm a resident of the UK and here. So, which is great.
Resident of the US meaning, I mean, of the UK meaning you married in the UK?
No. Not yet. I'm a citizen.
Okay, you can do that again so that the girls really see that.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm a citizen of the UK and of South Africa as well. So, which is great.
So you keep both homes in both places?
Yes.
Okay, I'm interested to know, your first album.
Yes.
What did your parents say?
My parents.
I mean, I can imagine typical parents who brought up a child in the 80s and 90s. They were not happy.
No, they were not happy.
And now you finally get to the point where you're a solo artist living in the UK, and you've been doing very well.
Yes.
And you release your first album.
You know what? I wouldn't, because my mom, I hear these things from people like that are in the family. They're like, oh, mama, because my mom had a chance to come and see me in the UK. Performing. Yes. And apparently she cried. But she never cried in my face. It's like, you know, she's very secretive. You know? But they were happy. My dad was proud.
Wow.
He was proud, and he told everybody, he would tell everybody, and you know, Domino's would play, sometimes we'd be in a taxi, and it would say, you know, he told me one scenario where he was sitting next to the driver, and Domino's was playing, and he asked the driver, do you know who's that's singing? And he said, yeah, some boy from overseas,
yes,
man,
from
Brian
the
Temba
UK,
or whatever. And he actually said, no, this is my son, you know. They're like, I'm not cool, man. Don't play with us, you know. And it's amazing because it's like you see how proud they are, you know. From that, you see how proud they are. He would tell everybody, all his friends know, and all his friends want the CD. I'm like, no, you have to buy it. You have to, but I can't give it for free, you know. So
I want to continue looking at your experiences when you come back to South Africa. What was that like? Because you'd spent a lot of time in a different environment, especially professionally. What was that experience like when you came back to South Africa? And also just touch on a little bit about your personal life that I'm sure our viewers will greatly appreciate. We're going to continue to get up close with Brian Temba when we come back from the break. Any suggestions or comments that you have for us? My Twitter handle at Tshepang Motsekuoa. Stay with us. Thank you for staying with us as we continue to get up close with Brian Temba. You say you've got quite a long story. What long story?
Just life. You know. Sometimes we're people who testify. You know, they say that gold is not. You know, it's refined. For it to be refined, it has to go through fire. You know, and you go through a lot of things. Like for instance, you were asking about when I came back. There's a lot of struggles. Let's
go in there.
Yeah.
What were the struggles that you experienced when you came back?
The industry, you coming with a different sound, you know, different sound, which is American, UK influenced. And you try to get in there. People are not comfortable. Record companies are not comfortable signing you because it's a new sound. And we're used to Kwaito or house or Afro pop, you know. And coming in as an R&B artist, it's like, we're not sure about this because it's not tested.
Who is this boy? He does not want to throw in some vernac in his track.
And for me, when I released the first album, there was no vernac. So it was like, it was hard. It was absolutely hard. I mean, going up and down, taking my CDs in, you know, to radio stations.
Why did you not decide just to, you know, focus on the industry in the UK and release there? Why did you decide to come back home?
It started at home. You know, my talent was discovered at home. And I felt South Africa, you know, needed to experience this before anyone else, before the UK, before the US, before anyone, you know. Obviously, there's hardships overseas because I had my own, because I performed a lot in the UK, I had an audience. I had people who followed me, you know, and it would have been wise to kind of release the album there. But I felt South Africa, I wanted to release here at home first. You know, and then take it out to the world, you know. And to be honest, it worked. It worked because at the end of the day, the first album did well, won a Summer Award, and was nominated for a few awards. And I didn't expect that. To be honest, when I came back home, I thought, okay, let's see how this will go. And it went well.
Let's talk about you as a character. I mean, I'm talking to you and I'm thinking you have a lot of discipline.
Okay.
To be able to do that as a young man, you know, there are great temptations overseas when you are earning a very good income.
Right.
For you to have remained so focused. Why are you looking down? Do you have another story for us?
No.
You can share, it's okay.
No.
But how did you deal with that?
You know, I have to thank my parents because of the, you know, the order that they've instilled in me. When you're out in the Western world, you get a lot of things. You get drugs, you get women, you get tempted to do a whole lot of things, you know.
And you're earning in pounds and
you're
dollars.
Earning in pounds, and you're earning a lot of money.
Yeah.
You know, you have the world in your, you know, in your hands. And you have respect of your peers, and you're on a West End stage, which is one of the biggest stages in the world. What do? I think I never had interest in a lot of things. I never could be tempted with a lot of things. For instance, clubs. I never went to a lot of clubs. I went to clubs, but it wasn't something that I loved to do. Fortunately, I had passion when it comes to music. You know, I have a great passion. And for me, my focus was getting my studio together and learning how to produce a little bit more. Because I knew how to produce, but I didn't know, you know, I could do it, you know, properly. And for me, that was more my focus, more than other things.
So what did you do with your time?
With my time?
Yeah, so basically what does Brian do with his time outside of music?
Now or then?
Then and now.
Then I used to travel a lot.
Okay.
I had an opportunity. I was in London. I could travel to Italy. I could travel to Turkey. I could travel to anywhere. And I used that time very